Hello. How are you? Happy Monday. Hope you're well. Hope you've had a good week and a good weekend. And I hope the sun's been shining where you are, because spring seems to have sprung. And it's really lovely weather here, so I'm hoping it's been good weather with you too. Something else that is good for me and for you also, really, is my sublimation printer. I've got a new sublimation printer. Whether you saw my community posts on my channel or not, I don't know. But if you didn't, this is what I was talking about on my channel sublimation community posts. Now, this is a design I've sublimated, printed onto a t-shirt. Now, it's not a full design. It was a test. It was a tester, so I did it as a tester. So I didn't do a full design, but I wanted to see how the colours came out and stuff. And actually, they've actually came out really well, as you can see. So I will be doing this and other designs for my shop very shortly, so look out for that. I won't be doing just t-shirts and clothing. I will be doing other things too, but I won't get into that right now. But yeah, also I won't be just doing spooky designs. I'll be doing all sorts of different designs, because I have a whole range of different people that follow me over on social media and stuff as well. So I'm not going to just focus just on spooky stuff, although there will be quite a lot of it, because that's who I am. So yeah, anyway, so that's that. I'm happy because I've got my sublimation printer sorted now. My one I had was completely rubbish, so I sent it back, got a new one. This one's better. As you can see, it prints really well. Colours are vibrant and everything is great. So anyway, without further ado, I think we should get on with the video now. The video this week is all about hauntings and around in the UK, and a couple of sort of folklore type things. So enjoy. I'll see you on the other side. Strange happenings in and around the UK. In 2006, a Victorian grey lady was seen at St Mary's Church in Bangor in Wales. A site worker walking up the main path to the left of the church spotted a grey lady in Victorian clothing 25 metres away. The man shouted to her that the gates were closed and that she wouldn't be able to pass through them. The lady, though, she ignored the worker and continued walking, passing behind the witness's work van, where she disappeared. The worker searched the area. There was no way the lady could leave without passing or being seen by him. But she was nowhere to be seen. Bedford Hospital is no different from other hospitals in the fact that it's known for its ghosts. In 1972, two nurses watched an attractive girl in a long dress and coat glide into the toilet on the south wing of the hospital. They followed, only to find that the room was empty. The same entity, though, may have been observed 28 years later, when 3 members of staff reported seeing a lady in a long dress walk through the wall of the storeroom. The Shand ward is said to be haunted by shuffling footsteps. King's Head Pub in Braintree in Essex has had some weird goings on. Paranormal occurrences are reported from this pub, including a man in dark grey who watches customers from the bar, but he also vanishes when he's looked at. Footsteps are heard on the second floor, unexplained shadows in the men's toilets, and doors opening and lights turning off. Now, this ghost has earned his nickname of Frank. Make of that what you will. Aston Hall in Birmingham has been known for hauntings. A former Mrs. Holt was suspected by her husband of having an affair. He locked her in the loft where she lived for several years before dying. Now, another version of the story says that Miss Mary Holt became locked in the loft by her father after she tried to elope. But either way, the phantom grey or white lady haunts the upper floor. A ghostly servant boy is said to hang from a beam on the property because he committed suicide after being caught stealing. While finally, a green woman, a former housekeeper named either Mrs. Whittaker or Mrs. Walker, has been seen in various areas of the site. A member of staff spotted her in the nursery room, briefly mistaking her for a real person before realising that the area had been closed off and that the figure was wearing 17th century clothing. Now, while in 2009 in a hairdressing salon in Coventry, a visitor was in the quiet salon and using the upstairs bathroom. The door wouldn't close properly, so it was left slightly ajar. And suddenly, there were 3 loud knocks, and the door was pushed open with force. But no one could be seen, and nothing more was heard, even though the area is covered in creaky floorboards. Now, we go to Harper Avenue in Burton-upon-Trent at around 1954-ish. Walking home one afternoon, a teenage lad said hello to Mr. Dykes, a neighbour who was stood leaning on his gate. The neighbour then returned the greeting, addressing the lad by his first name, something which never happened before. When the teenager reached his house, only 2 doors away from where the neighbour lived, his mum informed him that Mr. Dykes had died that morning. Now, this is a well-known thing to happen when people pass away. They're seen by someone at the exact time of their passing. It's almost as if they were saying a final goodbye to the world before they go. In Cathedral Green, which is in Exeter in Devon, there's a strange apparition which has been seen moving silently across the green. But apparently, the apparition is reported to possess 3 heads. A man walking with a group of friends across the yard felt a hand grab his right shoulder and pull him backwards. Thinking it was one of his friends, the man turned around, but nobody was there. All of the group of friends were ahead of him. In 1998, up in the Highlands of Scotland, in the mountain of Ben Hope, a climber noticed something odd. And while approaching the Cloud 9, a climber noticed a grey figure around 20 yards in front of him. The figure was walking steadily, wearing old hiking gear. The climber tried to catch him up, but no matter how fast he went, he could not close the gap between himself and the figure. The climber followed him to the top of the mountain, where he disappeared. Now, while over in the Isle of Skye in Scotland, in the early 20th century, a doctor was out for a walk along the coast, where he watched a light slowly drift across the sea and land nearby. It changed then into a cloaked woman holding onto a small child, before vanishing completely. Now, when the doctor told this story at the inn where he was staying, the landlord explained that a few years previously, 2 bodies had been washed up on the coast, that of a woman and a child. Staying in Scotland, in 2013, in the sky over the village of Crosshouse in Ayrshire, a mother thought that her daughter had been attacked after hearing her screaming along the road. As she ran inside, the mother received a call from the mother of her daughter's friend, who said that they'd seen a UFO with coloured lights around it. Unbelieving what she was hearing, the mother then ran outside and spotted the flying object in the sky for herself. Over in Crosby, in the Isle of Man, at the St Drinian's Church, an ogre-like entity was stirred by a ringing of the bells of his church. It tore off the roof while trying to silence the peals. Another story says that the roof is missing because demons would throw it to the ground after each repair, until either the locals eventually gave up trying to fix it, or the local tailor, Timothy Cluckus, tricked the Buggane into exploding its own head. It's folklore like this that makes you wonder about such creatures, isn't it? Barnsley Antique Centre in Yorkshire has several poltergeist-like events that have occurred in the shop, which was formerly a funeral parlour. Items have fallen from shelving without any normal explanations, and occasionally strange mists appear on the CCTV. Off the coast of Colwell Bay, though, in the Isle of Wight, an islander spotted an old ship on a misty morning, and he claimed that it was HMS Gladiator, which sank in 1908. Now, some say that the ship happens to appear every 10 years, though it's over half a century since the last report, having been last seen in the spring of 1958. Now, also in the Isle of Wight, a private house in Honey Hill area of Newport in 2014, a couple had retired to the island and they moved into a property which was haunted by footsteps and poltergeist activity. A little girl was seen and heard by the visiting family, who refused to return. One of the couple was then pushed down the stairs by the entity and suffered a broken collarbone. While in hospital, a nurse who spotted their address on the patient's notes said that she'd previously lived in the house and had moved out after experiencing all the antics of a poltergeist. Meanwhile, in Brighton Town Hall, Solomon, the first Chief Constable of Brighton, was killed around the middle of the 18th century after being hit around the head with a red-hot poker during an attempted escape of a prisoner in the cells. The former officer's ghost reportedly haunts the basement, while the upper parts of the building are haunted by a monk, a remnant from when the monastery stood on the site. But over in Beachy Head in Eastbourne, which is apparently a popular spot for suicide, several spirits are reported to haunt this disturbing area. One is that of a female figure who calmly steps off the edge of a cliff. Another woman, wearing grey, walks along the cliff path. Also, locals speak of a ghastly black monk who convinces people to jump off the edge. Now, I won't be going to Beachy Head in Eastbourne anytime soon. But also in Eastbourne, in the Royal Hippodrome Theatre, there are reports of a phantom woman that is said to haunt the stage area and has also been spotted sitting in the grand circle. A man was spotted on the fly floor during 1990s who vanished without a trace, while another witness spotted a heavy iron handle swinging itself for 30 seconds and felt something push past them with such force that the witness was turned 45 degrees. In 2014, a grey figure of a man was spotted in the wings. Now, I know that lots of theatres, because they're very, very old, have lots and lots of activity. So this one is no different. Make of all these what you will, but I really hope that you've enjoyed learning a few snippets about places that might not be as popular as others. So there you go. I hope you enjoy it. That's the video. And I hope you found out some fascinating things that you didn't know, that some stories that you hadn't heard of before, because that's what I try personally to look for when I look to do these videos. I try to look for stories and things that aren't as widely known, in the public eye, if you like. Things that are maybe sort of pushed to the side a little bit, sort of thing, because I find them more interesting to learn about, because obviously, like, even ones that are really personal and stuff like that, I find them really fascinating, because obviously they're in people's houses and things. Like, I've been there. I've lived in a haunted house. I know what it's like when you have things going on all the time in your home. And it's something that me and my family experienced, but not something that anybody else has seen, other than, say, people that my friends or family that came to visit me. But yeah, so I find it quite interesting, you know, that sort of thing, because I do find the smaller the sort of audience, I don't know if that's the right word for the paranormal activity, the better in a sense. So the smaller the story, the more interesting I find it. Because like I say, everybody's heard of Ball Erectory, everybody's heard of the Grey Lady, and, you know, all of that stuff. So it's widely known. So, you know, when it's not so widely known, I find it a little bit more interesting. So this brings me on to the next subject. Now, I've done this before, but I'd like to do it again. I want to do a video with subscriber content, because I know I have a few more subscribers now than I had when I did the video previously. So if you haven't been involved, this is your chance to get involved. I want to do a video with stories that you are sharing with me. So I want to do a video with, like, if you've sort of got any sort of strange, paranormal, weird, odd sort of experiences that you would like to share with me and everybody, then I'm going to leave a link down in the description to my email, so you can drop me an email with your story, and I will happily share it with the world, because I find that sort of thing fascinating and interesting. So do pop me a little email and let me know what it is, even if it's something really small, if it's something that's happened to you or your family member or somebody you know, or, you know, whatever. Share it with me so I can make a little video. So when I've got enough, I can make some content together to make a video. I will make a video on that. So if you've got anything you want to share, do that. Let me know. Now, another thing. A few people have said to me, oh, you should do a ghost investigation. You should totally go out and you should do a ghost investigation. Right. Okay, I want to. There's nothing I would like more, but I've got nobody to go and do it with, and I've not got a night vision camera. So it makes it a little bit difficult. Don't want to go out on my own in the dark, in an abandoned building or wherever, in the dark on my own. So I've sort of a bit stuck. So instead, I will be doing something a little bit different. I'm going to find some. I've got a real passion and a real love for churches, graveyards, and, you know, the whole shebang of that, because I find churches are lovely, aren't they? And I find that graveyards I find fascinating, because they're so. Some of the gravestones they date back so far, and just reading some of them, I like, you know, it's brilliant. I really enjoy it. So I think that what I want to do is I want to go and visit some churches and some graveyards, and, you know, do a little video on a couple. Like, I'm going to go around a few different ones near to me and stuff, so I can do a little video to share with you. So yeah, I want to do that. Like I say, I do want to do the ghost investigation, but I can't do it on my own, and I haven't got the equipment and, you know, all that stuff. All I have is my trusty iPhone, which is great. I've got a camera, it's great, it does what it says on the tin, but it's not a night vision camera, it's not a handheld camera, it hasn't got the best microphone, although I have got some little clip-on microphones which I can use with it, so I have got better quality microphones. But yeah, like I said, I don't want to go on my own. But I have to say, I am actually addicted to watching Ghost Fury. Now, if you haven't heard of Ghost Fury here on YouTube, where have you been? No, honestly, they are brilliant lads, and if I was going to go on a ghost investigation with anybody, it would be Joe and Elliot, because they are so funny, they are so good at what they do, and they make me smile every single time, and it's just great. So I'm going to leave a little link in my description to them, so you should definitely go over and sort of give them a little subscribe, because I think you'll love them too. And I do feel like they're one of the only sort of YouTubers that I know of that don't, they debunk things first. They try and debunk things. They don't jump into, oh my god, that's paranormal straight away, and they don't, you know, they'll think, oh, maybe that's other people, or, you know. So I like that because it's honest, it's good, honest ghost hunting. And you don't see enough of that, I don't think, especially now people just fake things all the time, left, right and centre, for likes and subscribers, and it's just not great. You know, there's a few on YouTube, they've been on YouTube for ages actually, that do that, and they have subscribers that are, what's the word, I can't be, try and be nice, gullible, maybe that's the word. They're a bit too gullible, they believe it, and then you can see that it's fake, and you know that it's fake, but yeah, it's a bit disheartening on the old paranormal investigations, really. But you know, such is life. So anyway, go and have a visit to Ghost Fury, because, you know, Joe and Elliot are brilliant. But anyway, I'm going to be out of here, I'm going to skedaddle, and I'll see you again next week. Probably see you again in the week with some shorts and stuff. But yeah, have a good week. See you soon. Take care of yourself. Keep smiling, and I'll see you soon. Ta-da. Bye-bye.